Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Harvest Moon Farm. My name is Mickey, and today we are going to start the process for our fall baking with a pumpkin flavor profile. So I have 6 pie pumpkins here, and I'm going to get these we're going to get these cut in half, and we're going to get them roasting and make our own pumpkin puree. We are going to roast our own pumpkins today so that we can make pumpkin puree for the pumpkin flavored fall baking that I'm going to be doing for the next couple of videos, and also anything that we have left we'll be able to use during the holidays, Thanksgiving or Christmas. I typically make pies for all of our family gatherings, so I'll have some to make our pumpkin pies, and then I hopefully will have enough to make the pumpkin rolls that I make and give away at Christmas time. We're going to start by preheating our oven to 350. Whoops. And then I have 2 baking sheets here. I'm just going to put some parchment paper on them, and unfortunately all of my big knives went home with my ex-husband, which is fine, but now I've got to cut these in half using a knife that's probably not as big as it should be. And these are really nice pumpkins. They would be really cute sitting outside, but we're going to roast these up. So we want to cut these in half. And if these stems weren't so big, I would cut them this way. I know that seems backwards, but I want to be able to lay them with the cut side up. And this is easier if you've got a nice big sharp knife. Now what we want to do is take a spoon or whatever works for you. And we want to scoop out the seeds and that pulp, the stringy pulp. And actually, I think I might keep these seeds and go ahead and roast them as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put the seeds in this colander, and I will take care of those later. So then I'm just going to put this cut side up. I've put it cut side down before and it works fine on my baking sheet. And once we get all these ready, and our oven's preheated, we're going to roast them in our oven for about 300, we're going to roast them in our oven for about 45 minutes. So this is great if you have your own pumpkins. I do not, of course, since I live in an apartment. I bought these, and it's definitely much cheaper to just buy the canned pumpkin puree in your grocery store. But this, you know where it came from, you know what you did to it. There's nothing extra in it, no preservatives. And I like doing it. I decided to go ahead and cut these in half this way. It's a little easier, and I just lay the top one kind of on its side, and it worked out fine. This would be much easier with a bigger knife, but we're gonna make this work. So I only have room for 4 of the pumpkins on our baking sheet. So we're gonna go ahead and get those in the oven. Need to rearrange the racks in my oven though. Now we're gonna let those go about 45 minutes and our pumpkin will be soft. We'll let them cool a little bit and we'll remove our peel. I've got the timer set for 45 minutes and when it goes off or whenever those pumpkins are ready, then I'll be back so we can do our next step. Okay, our pumpkins are done roasting. Oh my goodness. But they are still too hot to handle. So oh my goodness, heavy. So I'm gonna set these on these cooling racks. And we're gonna let them cool 10 or 15 minutes or so, because right now, trying to peel them, I would just burn myself. So we're gonna let them sit for a little bit, 10, 15 minutes, like I said, and then we'll come back and we're going to remove all the rind and we're going to put the pumpkin meat through the blender and get it all blended up, and then we'll package it up once it's all cool. So I'll be back in 10-15 minutes. Alrighty. Hopefully these are cool enough to mess with. So what I'm going to do is just pull this rind off, and now that it's cooked, it normally comes off pretty easily. There we go. And ow, you want to let it cool a little bit so you don't burn yourself, but you also don't want to wait till it's completely cool because then it'll be hard to get off. You gotta find that sweet spot that lets you do this. I usually end up burning myself a little bit. And then we're going to pop the meat of our pumpkin into my blender, and we're going to blend it all up. All right, so we're going to blend up this first batch now. Whoa. Probably put too much in this first one. Let me dump some of this out. Getting it started is the hardest part. Oh goodness, come on. Because it's thick, so it kind of gums up in the blender blades when you first start. want to keep blending it until it's nice and smooth. Okay, partly because this is still hot and partly because I want to measure it, I'm just going to put all of this in this big bowl as we work through it, and then I can measure it out into baggies and freeze it, and then I know how much I've got in each thing, in each bag. Oops. Now that I've made a complete mess, and I usually blend mine until it looks like baby food. So while these were cooking, or while these were baking, I went ahead and cleaned off all the pumpkin seeds that came out of these, and then I'll go ahead and we can roast those up later as well. You can probably do this in a food processor as well. I just always use my blender. The food processor might actually be easier, I don't know. But now that my blender's all dirty, we're going to use it, even if it takes a while. I was going to try just doing a little bit at a time, but that's not working either, so I'll just go back to doing a half a pumpkin at a time. If I'm going to fight with it, I might as well fight with it when I've got more pumpkin in there. Just do pumpkin rind on my floor. Definitely going to have to mop after today. Goodness. Got pumpkin guts everywhere. Alrighty, I think we got it all done now. We want to get as much of this out of our blender bowl as we can. Oh, I think I just splashed pumpkin in my face, probably in my hair. Lovely. Okay, that process cooled it down quite a bit. So I've got got these cool little bag holders. I don't remember where I saw these. Probably saw them on somebody else's video, maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm going to use, I probably ordered them from Amazon. But I am going to use these gallon baggies. And if you've never used these are really cool. You just put the sides of your bag up in the little clips, and then you can adjust the height depending on what size bag you're using. And oops, that kind of serves as the extra hand that you need when you are filling bags with something like this. So I'm going to use a 1 cup measurement. And I don't know how much I'm going to put in here. Let's see, there's 2. Try not to make a huge mess, but of course it's not working that way. 3, I think I'll just do 4 cups in each bag. So then I can zip this closed. We're going to let out as much air as we can. Zip it closed, and then I can clean off the pumpkin that I got everywhere. Then I can lay it flat. I know you can't really see here. I'll move this in just a second. So then I can just lay this bag flat. I'm going to lay them on a cookie tray. And I'm going to use a cookie tray that I know will fit this way in my freezer. So I'm trying to flatten this out as much as possible. And so then I'm just going to fill all these other bags and we'll lay them on here as well. So let me get some of this extra junk out of my way. We'll go ahead and fill these all with 4 cups. Oh, darn it. And once these are frozen solid, then I can go ahead and write on the bags that it's pumpkin and how much I have in each one. And I'm overfilling this since I'm not scooping out the excess in the measuring cup. That way I'm more likely to be getting an actual 4 cups in there. And I think 4 bags actually might be just about right. Yep. So we had about 16 cups of pumpkin. I do still have 2 more pumpkins that I could roast, but I don't really know if I need it. get these last 2 bags completely full. Make sure I don't leave any pumpkin in my bowl. Not after all that work. Okay. Same thing. Squeeze the air out. Lay them flat. And then put them on our tray. Oh shoot, that one's leaking. There we go. Okay, so these 4 bags are gonna go into my freezer. And once they're frozen solid, I can take them out, clean the bags up a little more, and write the date, the pumpkin, and the amount, and then I'll know what I've got. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna get this mess all cleaned up, and we'll be ready to start on our pumpkin baking here shortly. I cleaned off all the pumpkin seeds while those were roasting, and so now we are going to get our pumpkin seeds roasting in the oven. I've used all of my parchment paper that I had open. Whoa! I've used all my parchment paper, so I had to open my new box. I don't know if I can get the actual, oh my gosh, package to open. So I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper on here, and then I'm going to put my pumpkin seeds out here. I'm going to spread these out. Now, this is how I do mine. I am going to spray it with some vegetable spray. And then we're going to salt it, or salt them, not salt it. And then as soon as our oven is preheated, I've got it preheated at 350, we're going to stick those in there, and I'm going to check it about every 10 minutes or so until these are as toasted up as I like them. All right, good morning everybody. So yesterday we roasted our pumpkins and made our puree. Today we're going to use some of that and make some pumpkin recipes. So we're going to make some baked pumpkin donuts, yummy, some pumpkin marble cake, and some pumpkin bars with cream cheese frosting. Oh, my favorite. All right, let me go get the pumpkin out of the freezer and we'll get started. So I realized in the middle of the night that I froze all of my pumpkin when I should have kept one out for today's baking. All right, so these donuts are baked. So we're gonna go ahead and preheat our oven to 350. And we need 12 donut molds. I have 2 6-count, and we want to spray that really well because we don't want them to stick. And then I'm just going to set these back here out of the way. And one thing about freezing our pumpkin in such a flat package is that it thaws pretty easily. So I have it just in a sink full of hot water right now, and it'll be ready to use here in just a few minutes. So we're gonna start then by getting our dry ingredients ready in our bowl. So in a large bowl, we are going to puff flour in our face. We need 1 3/4 cups of flour. To this, we're going to add 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. We're just going to whisk all of our dry ingredients together and set them to the side. Then in this smaller bowl, we're going to mix together our sugars, our vanilla, our pumpkin, our egg. We're going to mix all of that and whisk it together in this bowl. We're going to start with 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, we're going to add 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. We want 1/2 cup of our pumpkin puree. Two large eggs. One 1/4 cup of milk. 1/4 cup of melted butter, which will be 1/2 stick. While we're letting the butter melt, we're going to go ahead and add our vanilla, and we need 1 teaspoon. Whoa, that was probably more than 1 teaspoon. That's all right. We're going to whisk that all together. Our butter's still melting, but I'm going to go ahead and start whisking this stuff together. So here's our 1/4 cup of melted butter. Go ahead and whisk that in. Oh, it wasn't quite melted. Just a little hunk left in there. We'll go ahead and whisk that until it melts in. What we want to do now is mix our wet ingredients into our dry ingredients. And I'm going to whisk these as I put them in, but then we're going to stir it in with a rubber spatula. We want to mix this just until it's combined. We don't want to over mix it because then our donuts will be tough. Just going to make sure that we don't have any flour or any of our baking powder or baking soda unmixed in here. So we're going to transfer our dough, our batter, into a piping bag. Now this would be the time when I could use my large bag because we don't need a tip for it, but of course I can't find it this morning. So we're going to use our little plastic ones, disposable. You can use a spoon if you want, or if you don't have any bags. This is just going to give us a more even distribution of our batter. You can also use just a Ziploc bag with one of the corners cut out. That works just as well because we're not trying to be super precise here. We just want to use this to help us fill our, I hope I don't squeeze too much. Oh shoot. We want to fill these about 3/4 of the way full. And I filled my bag too full. So you can see how using a bag like this helps you put your dough in more evenly without getting it all over that center ring. or that center, the part that makes the donut hole. Okay, we're going to start with a fresh bag for the next batch. These smell so good. This batter, I guess I should say, smells so good. I can't wait to try these. All right, so we're going to put some of our remaining dough in this. I'm going to try not to overfill this bag this time. All right, one more bag. Put the rest of this dough in here, or batter, whatever you want to call it. And this is only supposed to make 12 donuts. So once I've got them all full, I'll go back and make sure that they're all filled about the same amount. I'm just trying to add a little bit more to any of the ones that look a little thin in terms of the batter. All right, so our oven is preheated to 350. I'm just making sure there's no batter on the edges of the pan. And we're going to bake these 12 to 15 minutes or until the top springs back when we touch it and a toothpick inserted in it comes back clean. So we'll start with 12 minutes and then see how they look. So while those bake, we're going to get our cinnamon sugar coating ready for these. So we need a half a cup of granulated sugar and a tablespoon of cinnamon in this bowl. I'm just going to stir this all together. We're going to melt a quarter cup of butter, which is a half a stick, in our other bowl. All right. If I could get a hold of this pan. So we're going to let these sit in the pan for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to dump them out of our pan. We're going to dip them in the melted butter and dip them in the powdered sugar and set them on the cooling rack. All right, looks like I overfilled them, but they will still be good. So we're just gonna take it, we're gonna dip it in our melted butter and sugar the top of our donut. And then I'm gonna set these on this other cooling rack. Whoa. Don't spill your butter all over. That'd be a mess. So these were very simple to put together. They smell delicious. I can't wait to try one, which I'm going to do as soon as I get them all ready. All right, there's the last one. And I'm going to go ahead and take, there's a little bit of sugar left. I'm just going to sprinkle it. Sprinkle a little over each donut. And just use this all up. Alrighty, we are going to give, I want to take one of the smaller ones, this one. We're going to give it a taste. Oh man, this is really good. All right, I'm going to set these over here out of my way. We'll let those finish cooling, and then I'll be able to put them in a container to take to work with me tomorrow. Now that our donuts are done, the next thing we're going to work on is our pumpkin marble cake. So I've got my bundt pan here. I'm going to spray it really well. And then we're going to flour it. I'm going to work the flour around and make sure that we get it on both the sides and the little piece in the middle of our bundt pan so that our cake does not stick. Okay, and we're going to set this to the side. For this recipe, we're going to start by mixing our sugars in this bowl, and we need 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar. To the white sugar, we're going to add 1 cup of packed light brown sugar, half a cup of vegetable oil, and half a cup of buttermilk. Now, I don't have buttermilk, so I'm going to substitute it by adding my milk and a tablespoon or so of lemon juice. And we're going to let that sit for just a couple minutes. While our milk is sitting, I'm going to go ahead and mix up the sugars and oil. Alright, we're going to go ahead and stir our substitute buttermilk in. To our sugars, oil, and buttermilk, we're going to add 3 eggs. We're going to add them one at a time and stir after each one. We want to make sure that we get each egg really well mixed into what we've got so far in our batter. So here's egg number 2. And number 3. So to this, now we want to add a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm really over measuring my vanilla today. And 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. That is approximately 1.875 cups. So there's a half. 1, 1.5, and then I'm just going to do a scant measure and call that close enough. And then we want to stir this into our sugar, oil, buttermilk, and egg mixture. Just want to make sure that that pumpkin gets all mixed in there. Next, we're gonna add our dry ingredients directly into this bowl. We're gonna add 3 cups of all-purpose flour. There's 3. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of salt. All right, so now we're gonna mix this all in together. Gonna make sure that we get all our dry ingredients well mixed into our wet mixture. Okay, now we want to scoop out about 1.5 cups of our batter and put it into a separate bowl. To this batter that we removed, we're going to add 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. And we're going to whisk that all together. Now to the remaining mixture of our base batter here, we're going to add a tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice, which I need to make some more. Okay, so we've got our frying pan, and we are going to start alternating our batter. So we're going to put a cup of our pumpkin in the bottom of our pan. We're going to top that with 1/2 cup of our chocolate. Now we're going to alternate 1/2 cup of pumpkin, 1/4 cup of chocolate until we've got all of our dough, all of our batter, I guess, in our pan. Layer of chocolate, and then we'll end with the pumpkin batter on top. So I actually just realized I forgot something in the chocolate dough. We were supposed to add 2 tablespoons of buttermilk. I forgot it, and it's too late now, so it'll be fine. There we go. So now this is going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 55 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in the middle comes out clean. While our chocolate pumpkin bundt cake is in the oven, we're going to go ahead and start working on... just heard some weird noise outside. We're going to go ahead and start working on our pumpkin bar. So I'm just going to spray a 9x13 pan and set it to the side. In our mixing bowl, we are going to add 4 eggs. 1 2/3 cup of granulated sugar. We want 1 cup of vegetable oil. You could also use avocado oil or any mild tasting oil. I don't have enough avocado oil left, so I'm going to go ahead and use just regular vegetable oil. So 1 cup of that. One teaspoon of vanilla. That was probably the first time I've measured an actual teaspoon correctly today. And the equivalent of a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. So again, that is about that's probably about what I have left in here. So what I'm actually going to do is just dump the rest of this bag in here. That's probably easier than trying to measure it out and getting it everywhere. I mean, I'll probably still get it everywhere, but oh, my bag's sealed up. Okay. Now we can put this back. And we're just going to mix all this. Oops, let me move this back. We're just going to mix this now until everything is well combined. Okay, since we have some time before this can go in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and make up some more of my pumpkin pie spice. So each recipe will take 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, but I'm going to double it. Two teaspoons of ginger for the original recipe. I will go ahead and put this in a description box so you can see what the actual mixture is. 2 teaspoons of nutmeg. A teaspoon of cloves. And a teaspoon of allspice. So now I'm just going to put the lid on and I'm just going to give this a good shake. There we go. We're going to go ahead now and mix up our dry ingredients. We're going to put 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, which it's a good thing I ordered some more cinnamon. Hopefully it comes before I need to buy some at the store. And 2 teaspoons of our pumpkin pie spice mix. We're going to mix all of our dry ingredients together. So we're going to add our dry ingredients now to our wet. And we're going to mix this just until combined. We want to really try to avoid over mixing. So I'm going to stir in this last little bit of flour that was on the beater. Make sure there's nothing dry at the bottom. And then we're just going to pour it into our prepared pan. And now I'm just going to set this to the side until our bundt cake is done, and then this will go into a 350-degree oven as well. All right, our timer's going off, so let's see. Oh my goodness, this looks beautiful. Let's see if this is done. I don't know if it is. Nope, not quite. All right, we're gonna stick this back in for about 5 more minutes and we'll check it again. All right, let's try this again and see how it looks. Almost. I'm gonna give it about 2 more minutes. Okay. This is done. So I'm going to put this on a cooling rack and we're going to let it cool for a little bit before we take it out of the pan. And we're going to put our pumpkin bars in the oven and we're going to let them cook for about 30 minutes. All right, that came out of the pan finally. Oh, it looks beautiful. Smells divine. So we're gonna let this cool on our rack and we will slice into it. We'll slice into it when it's completely cool. All right, so there's our bars. So let's see. Oh, they look good. But they are not done. Give them 5 more minutes and then we'll see how they look. All right, let's check these again. And they are done. I think. Let's give them a quick test. Make sure. Yep, they're done. So here these are. I'm going to set them right here and we are going to let them cool completely. Once they are completely cooled, we'll go ahead and make our cream cheese frosting and then we'll frost these bars and then we can cut them and take them out of our pan. Okay, our pumpkin bars are cool, so we're going to go ahead and start our cream cheese frosting. So we need 2 tablespoons of softened butter and 8 ounces of cream cheese. To that we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to go ahead and mix this up until it's creamy. To this we're going to add about 2 to 3 cups of powdered sugar. I'm going to start with 2 and we'll let it mix. Oh, powdered sugar everywhere. I'm going to go ahead and add the last cup. And we'll go ahead and mix that. So we're just going to put our cream cheese frosting on our bars, and then we'll go ahead and spread that out. Okay, so here are pumpkin bars. I can't wait to cut these and give them a try. I'm gonna sift a little powdered sugar over the top of our marble cake. I'm gonna go ahead and cut a slice out of this. So that looks amazing. Here is that slice. And we're going to give it a taste. That is really good. I was kind of unsure about the pumpkin and chocolate together, but I like it. It's really good. All right, so that's going to do it for this first pumpkin baking video. We've got our pumpkin bars with cream cheese frosting. We've got our pumpkin spice donuts with a cinnamon sugar topping. And we've got our pumpkin chocolate marble cake. Everything's delicious. I can't wait to share it with my family and my coworkers. Hopefully they will be as excited as I am. And as always, I'll go ahead and link all these recipes in the description box, including the recipe for the pumpkin pie spice mix. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please go down and hit that thumbs up button. Telling me that you like the videos really helps me. It also helps YouTube know that people are enjoying my videos. If you are not subscribed, I would encourage you to subscribe. That lets you know whenever my next video is uploaded and ready for you to watch and enjoy. And that will do it. And so I will see you guys on the next video.